What's up, my fellow trash nuggets? Welcome back to another episode of Good Figures. And today's episode is a redo, because why is it a feature? Because if you didn't know this, if you're recording a video and an alarm goes off on an iPhone, the alarm ends the recording. Straight up just ends it. This has happened quite a few times, but I've made an ingenious discovery. I turned off the alarm for this time, 9 o'clock, on all Fridays. Are I smart? Anyway, so let's get into the video of Neca City Hunter, or at least I think that's what it's called. I can't remember. I have a sort of a sweet spot with this design. Thumbnail break. Anyway, as you can see, it's just like the second movie, because this comes from Predator 2, Concrete Jungle or something like that, and pretty good. And the reason I got this one is because of a random series of events that allowed me to get it. One, the reason I like this design, or I have an attachment to it, is because of a previous action figure. And the only reason I have an attachment to this design and not any other Predator action figures that aren't over $100 and aren't kind of bad. Not like bad, but like bad, and I don't like it. Is because I had my only other Predator action figure was this same exact design, but an older version. And look at him. No hands, no accessories, no legs, just a torso. And that's why I grew attached to this design specifically. I have watched the second movie. I liked it. It's fun. I don't remember enough to say it's a good movie, but I like it. Maybe a future episode of good content. Anyway, so yeah, I have an attachment to this design, and randomly one day at Target, I realized that I was like in the past couple of months, like even the past couple of years, I've been like, I need a Predator figure, I need a Predator figure, I need a Predator figure, but there's never a chance, and none of the figures appealed to me, whether it's the price or the design in general. Until one day, Target just had him and a couple other figures. And like I said, on that same exact day, on the Demogorgon review, I got him and the Demogorgon and Super Saiyan Goku from the Spirits line, something like that. And I said in that video, if this guy broke, I was gonna be upset. And like all NECA action figures, they're really brittle. Especially the Predator's wrist blades. Imagine I just broke down my nose. Anyway, so yeah. These wrist blades specifically were kind of warped. As you can see, they're spread out. And really brittle, like at the center, because it goes from, as you can see where it broke, it goes from like a normal wrist blade, and then it juts out and it becomes bigger. So at halfway point, it's very weak there because it's engraved and it's the smallest point on the blade. So bang bang boom, a couple days later after that video, it broke. I picked it up, it got dragged on something, and luckily it was holding on just by a bit, so I was like, I can just never touch this again. And I was like, no, things are gonna break. I realized that if you get NECA and you get something with dangly bits, because I did this in the last recording. I showed off this, my display. if you have Neca and they have dangly bits, they're probably gonna break. Heck, if the joints are stuck, they're gonna break. Even if you try and like whittle it a little, it's just gonna snap off. So you gotta be careful with these things. So, yeah, you just gotta be careful. And if it does break, it's not the end of the world. So let's get a good look. The paint and the sculpting are amazing. This is a good figure if you haven't noticed. And comparing it to what's left of the old version, or a old version, because there's a lot of versions. Because this guy goes through the ringer. Matter of fact, spoilers for Predator 2, which came out in like the 1980s. He dies. Matter of fact, if he didn't die, the main character wouldn't have gotten the respect of the other Predators in that clan. Oh, there's something in the thing, in this guy's thing. Some sort of... Oh, it's from a Shredder figure. I broke it off because I was like, I don't like that he doesn't have spikes anymore, so I just shoved it in there. I'm gonna leave it in there just cuz. But, so yeah. It's definitely a difference because I think this is just a base body. Like, they use a base body for the Predators, and they change the armor and the head and the whatever, for whatever means necessary for a design. And this is more in line with how the movie actually looked, or at least body-wise. I'm not sure about the actual patterns and skin, because compare that. It's not helping. Big, larger stomach, no stomach. And if you ever seen a weightlifter, they have stomachs. Like, they straight up say, if you're not over like a 300 pounds, you're not gonna lift a lot of weights. So they straight up say, the bigger you are, the better for weightlifting, because apparently like that equates somewhat, but it's not like necessary. So this is more like realistic and accurate to the movie, while this is just a base body. Like, it works, but it's not really in my idea. It's not my idea of a Predator. I prefer the more realistic depiction, as most things should be. I'm not saying that about art. Art, as you can see, my art's not the best, which you should totally check out in my social medias. All you down there, check out everything else if you can. Anyway, so there's a bit, like most Predator figures, there's a bit of a playability and a little spice into the design, because you got the throwing disc you can just put into, like, which I love. It's just a soft plastic. You can just shove it in there and it stays in. Like, it's not gonna fall out. And then you got the healing pack he does later in the movie. And then you got the typical wrist plates that extend. Imagine it broke. They extend and then you retract. Not much. It's very hard for it, like, the Predator to like actually grab stuff, because look at that. Nail to blade. It's very hard for this guy to grab. Imagine that with the AVP Predators. And with that, you got the beep boop, ha 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 ha, you know. And then you got the wrist the shoulder blaster, which is just, it's like a rail. You can see the groove. It's outstretched a bit. It's fine. Still works. So it moves forward and back. You can see there. And then it can swivel on that base. So it can swivel there. And then there's also a ball drain at the actual cannon itself. So it can go up, down, and it can swivel on the joint. So also it's on, like, there's a bend, it goes, so if you need B, you can have it constantly around the head. So it doesn't get trapped, stuck to it, or it's lost in the dreadlocks. But by the way, I found a fun fact, because I'm not sure how true it is. Apparently, there's a difference between locks and dreadlocks. Because apparently, locks are just like normal braids people get, people of color get, because I can't do locks at all. I know my hair would fall out, because it might be thick, but it ain't strong. So, locks are just the normal kind of braid most people of color get, while dreadlocks are sort of for people who have a higher standing in like the society or like the religious circle, so they get dreadlocks. So you can't just look at a braid and be like, oh, nice dreadlocks. No, I'm pretty sure there's a difference, but I'm not sure how true that is. Fact check me, if you will. So yeah, but in canon, these are called dreadlocks, so there's no dispute about that. So yeah, and then you got the canon, of course. So this isn't how the figure came in the package. This hand was different and this head was different. And we'll show you those here. There's a lot of accessories, as they should have. You got the head, typical Predator mask, rectangle, circle, triangles kinda. More like rectangles that connect in the center. Oh, I'm getting stuck. My chair. One of my favorite artists has posts. Worthy Kid, Worth Eye Kids. I don't know how to pronounce your username, but one of my favorite artists. And then you got the hand. It's the Material Girl. I did it perfect. Material Girl. So if you want to make that joke, make it for me, because I'm not much of a photographer of action. So if you want, you can do the Material Girl Predator picture with this guy. So if you want, there's your option. Because there's no other use besides the fact that it's more of a fist than this. So you can go for more, because it goes in the stabbing hand. And then you got the other hands for the left hand. You got an outstretched hand, which is one of my favorite hands for predators, because it's so them. I don't know why, but whenever I think of a predator hand, I think of them going like this, or something like this, like something like dynamic, but yeah, not like restricted. Like it's powerful, but ease. Like it's easy to be strong for them, which it is. And then you got a karate chop hand for some reason. Don't know why. I don't know. Anyway, don't worry, we're almost done. We got a couple more. There's also one other feature I didn't mention. This gauntlet part right here, can you see it? It's different shades. It's like, it has like an alligator texture to it. You can take it out and you can put this one on it. Like, it's basically the same thing, except the peg is in a different spot and it has like a notch. So, I'm not sure what that's for. It doesn't say anything on the box and there's no instruction, so it's there. I haven't watched the movie in a while. I don't know. So yeah, that's a thing. And then you got, what should I do? Let's go from the last two actual accessories rather than, well, last weapons, I guess. You got the combi sticks, the combat sticks. That's what they're called. They're just extendable spears, which I've been looking everywhere for an extendable like spear last stick, like Nightwing or this. Like, I don't want to stab people. I just want to have an extendable, like, forgot what it's called. Like it's a spear, but it's not sharp. It's right on the tip of my tongue. Ow, this hurts. Ow. A staff. I want an extendable staff, and I have been looking. Surprisingly hard. Like they have, there's the one that went viral that's just literally just a roll of aluminum that when you unpeg it, or like take a peg out of a hole through the hole that goes through the whole thing and extends. I don't want that, because that's just aluminum that happens to go in a spiral that looks like a stick. If you actually hit it with someone, it's gonna bend, and it might not go back to the way it was. So that's not what I'm looking for. Not that I'm hitting anyone. Not that I'm hitting on anyone. Or at least not yet. For both of those. So yeah. Don't know why I mentioned the staff, but I'm looking for one. So you got you got the spears. Two versions. Like obviously they can't do an extendable spear at that scale. They can barely do anything else on this figure. These figures are basically barely holding on when it comes to accessories that actually move like they do in the movies. So give them some slack. The fact we even have a spear is a lot, because that thing is big. Like here it is. Here's the 7-inch, because this figure is 7 inches. All right, here it is. That's bigger by like a good ½ inch or like an inch. I don't know. I'm not good with measurements. So yeah, those are the spears, and here are the last two accessories. Let's save that one for last, because that one's very special. Here's the second to last one. A disembodied skull and spine. Because you know those predators, they love some ribs. Even though there's no ribs on this one. You know what I mean. Here it is. Bloody, dirty, love it. It needs to be clean for a display. You know, I love a good skull on display. But Johnson & Johnson, I just realized that it's a medicine company, and if I make a joke about that, I'm gonna feel bad. Anyway, we have a blast effect. You don't get many of these with NECA figures, so this is a very special thing to me, because I don't have many blast effects. And when I went to Target today, they sure shoved that in my face. For some reason, they had a lot of Dragon Ball figures that came packaged with like hundreds of, I'm exaggerating, hundreds of blast effects in the package with one figure who barely, like it's Dragon Ball, blast effects are the kind of thing, but it was taunting me. It was taunting me, and I'm trying to be more responsible with my money. So, like, plus this can't even be used for much else. It just goes on the shoulder cannon, and it goes pew pew pew, and don't smoke, kids. Anyway, so yeah, that's what it looks like. Honestly, if it wasn't so wide right on this side, because it usually goes like this, it could go for like a pretty cool like reverse. It could go for like a pretty good like gun being fired underwater. That could be good. And that's about it for accessories. And I guess that just means I'm not gonna do scale. We already had that guy. It's basically the same thing. It's 7 inches, so it's in scale with most other 1/12 figures. So let's go into the dreaded articulation. So the head is on a dumbbell joint. If you, please don't break, please don't break. So it's on a dumbbell joint. As you can see, the head is pretty easily removable. I mean, it's more or less a ball joint at the base of the neck that has a peg on it. So it's less of a dumbbell joint, more of a peg on a circle. So, or call you whatever that. And then you have It's a swivel and a hinge, and they're shoulder pads, so they're gonna be in the way somewhat. But they're rubber and they're not glued all on entirely, so they can move when they need to. And you got bicep swivel. This one has the armor on it. And you got double jointed elbows. Then you got swivel at the base of the gauntlet, and you got a swivel hinge on all the hands except this one. The karate chop hand is a ball joint peg. For some reason, I don't get this hand. I don't get it. Oh, is it supposed to be like a very stylized spear throwing hand? I don't understand it. I don't understand that hand. Almost forgot I was doing this. And then after, that's basically it for all the hands. Then you got a waist joint. It's a ball joint, I think. So there's a slight movability, but don't force it. You will break it. No, that's a different NECA figure that broke at the tip. So there's that. And then the legs, also be careful. It's just it's a pin. It's a swivel hinge that goes into the hip. And then it goes out just about that much. And then you go out all the way. Almost, yeah, it's 90 degrees. Would you count that? Yeah, it's 90 degrees that way. Thanks to the diaper, it can actually move out of the way so you can get that back. And then it has a swivel at the hip, and you got double jointed knees. And then the feet are, these are actually pretty, no, I removed this. They're just ball joints. Maybe I don't force that on camera. Anyway, that's it. So you got ball joints. I don't know why, I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I'm not. So yeah, that's it. Basically, you got all the accessories, the paint, the sculpt, my story, personal history with this figure and its design, and my general gripes with it. Oh, I should probably mention that this one is specifically made so it can go on the back. There's a clip that can get pretty worn out pretty easily, so it's not going to stay on perfectly, but that's an option. Again, options are good. So yeah, that's about it. Do I recommend it? Do you like Predator, but do you also not want to pay hundreds of dollars for like high-end Predator? I don't know. This is the best. NECA does the best they can, because there are no other options for like 6-inch range action figures that are Predators. There's plenty of Aliens, or at least accurate to the movies. Because at Walmart, you got Alien and Predator action figures that are more cartoony and stylized. They're supposed to be more like Kenner. You know, figures. So yeah. Would I recommend it? No doy. We have no other options, I think. Like, there are other Predator action figures out there, like I said. There's just none in this scale and this accurate to the movies. So it's not like a recommendation, as more as a, do you like Predator and do you like 6-inch range figures? Here's your only option, or at least your general only option. You can only get NECA. Hopefully in the future we can get different companies on this. Anyway, so yeah, that's it. I guess I'm pretty out of it, because we had plans to go see Jurassic World Dominion today, but I don't know, scheduling and sort of like timing issues happen. So we're gonna see that in a couple of days, this weekend. So yeah, that's about it. Like, comment, subscribe, tell me what I should do next. Check out my Patreon. I have no Patreons yet. But if you even want to join, but you don't, you want to join, but you don't want to, like, you have a general interest in wanting to join, but you don't want to, because I understand that. I commend you. The fact you even consider joining my Patreon, I genuinely enjoy your company and my time with these videos. So thank you. Anyway, so that's about it. I already said the things. Whatever. That's about it. See you next Friday. Jurassic World Dominion, here I come.